Good morning, good morning. So lovely to have everyone here on Wednesday Wisdom. And we are here with the beautiful Leah Kelly. Hey, Leah.
Hi, everyone.
And Leah is up in Kuranda. Do you live in Kuranda as well?
I actually have a property sort of 5 acres just out of Kuranda. It's about 20 minutes out of Kuranda, yeah.
Koa?
No, more towards Oak Forest.
Ah, okay, yeah. Okay, so I used to live up in far north Queensland for 17 years. And so Leah and I think I had the conversation with you just because I saw some of your stuff online. Maybe Chantel was doing photos or something. There was something I saw online. So we thought we hadn't met because I just said, oh, I'd love to interview you. And that was a while back. And when we jumped on, we've most probably walked past each other.
Yeah.
Your face looks very familiar.
Yes. It's so funny, in that market. I was in the market for 20 years, and the amount of people that recognise me that I go, oh.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Kuranda is just about an hour and 10, an hour and 20. Oh no, about an hour from
Cairns.
Yeah, up the Kuranda range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was living in Atherton at the end of my thing, and that's about an hour and 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. So Leah, you are. We've got the topic as how to never give up on your dreams, but you're a creator, right? You're a beautiful creator of natural wedding dresses and formal dresses and stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I design natural organic gowns made of natural fibre. I've been at it for nearly 40 years now, but I sort of decided about 20 odd years ago that the embroidery, beading and everything that I do to the gown needed to be put on something that was sustainable, that would last almost like heirloom pieces. With the rise of eco-fashion and disposable society, so I suppose people sort of buy things and then they're thrown out because of whatnot, they're over the lip or whatever. But I try to sustain that idea of we don't really need an awful lot of clothing, we just need a few pieces, and if they're made from natural fibres and a design that actually sort of doesn't really change in time, I guess it sort of allows that sort of for you to hold on to pieces, even if they're a pair of work pants or something like that.
Yeah, so true. And not something that oh yeah, of course, here we go, we get caught up in the fashion world. Even if you're not in the fashion, you still want to look good and you're wearing clothes or whatever, and one of the things, unless you've got an issue with your skin and stuff, sometimes it's not something that you think of, right?
That's exactly right. We go out and we buy these sort of cheap made things that are not productive in the industry, literally, because I did an interview with a young girl not long ago from Brisbane Uni who was talking about sustainability in the fashion industry, and one thing that I did point out to her was it's actually the consumers that need re-educating as far as where they're spending their money and what they're spending their money on. You've got, for 20 years of being in the market, you had people that would come along and you'd have little old Mary there making her T-shirts herself. That was sustaining her livelihood at her home. And then you had, the next door up, you had T-shirts that were imported from Thailand or Bali or somewhere like that. And little old Mary's might have been like $60, and the ones next door would be about, $15. Well, the majority of consumers would always opt for the cheap, nasty fix, which suffices the fix. But at the end of the day, 12 months' time, things falling apart. Yeah. And little old Mary's will last almost a lifetime.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've got to look at where your money is being spent and who you're actually supporting.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you were saying also, before we actually got on, was about natural fibers to synthetic fibers in our underwear and stuff, right?
Absolutely, because the fabric is so expensive, obviously, to purchase. The leftover fabrics after I would do gowns and things, I had quite a substantial amount of them, and I decided that especially sensitive, prone skin women, in particular up here where we've got a lot of humidity and sweat, I decided to use a lot of the leftovers to actually make underwear, lingerie that would breathe, because it stops a lot of those issues like thrush and all those nastinesses that actually do come from sweating in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And putting, as you said, plastic materials, right on our sensitive areas. Like especially the vagina is so thin. The material, like the skin, is so thin, right? It's such a gentle area.
It totally is. And if you've just got, a natural fiber that's breathable, you actually, I've noticed it actually does sort of reduce the infections and the problems that women do have for that, whether or not you're sensitive, prone, or whether you're not. But a woman's
Just want to be healthy.
vagina and areas like that are actually, they want to be healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I, instead of wrapping your bits up in plastic, basically, I think it's most important to actually use the natural fiber for all women, But it became such a consumer thing. I mean, look back in the day, our stockings were made from silk, and now they're made from nylon. It was completely because of the petrochemical industry. Unfortunately, it did sort of override a lot of issues, particularly on the health side of things.
Yeah. And so, when you say never give up on your dreams, you were saying, how long have you been doing this for? 40 years?
I've been doing it for over 40 years, making clothes, and I was in the market for 20 years. And it was so frustrating because people would sort of like walk by, like I was saying before, and the price that was on my pieces were not conducive to their budget. But yet, if you actually looked at it again, like I was saying, and it's actually worth it. But the arena that I actually needed my bits to be on, my gowns, my pieces, I never gave up. I never stopped just because it was cheaper for me to buy cheap fabric. I never gave up on that whole concept of actually, no, even though at times literally I was, I had 3 little girls and I would be in and out and in and out and in and out, trying. I just never gave up. I never swayed to the side of just getting cheap, nasty fabric and doing it just for the buck. And it's paid off because, as a result, 18 months ago, I showcased at Eco Fashion Week up here in Port Douglas, and then I took the showcase to Fremantle and showcased for Eco Fashion Australia over there. Now that was streamed, and as a result, Oxford Fashion Studios in London saw my 6 gowns on the runway, and they gave me a personal invite to showcase over on the runways in Paris. Now this was prior to COVID.
Yeah, bugger.
So I think I was so excited. I actually cried because if you see where I actually live, it's not an easy task. Hence again why I've never given up on my dream, because I live sustainably as well as work sustainably. I then pursued. Well, just recently now they've actually invited me, because Paris is not going ahead because of the unrest that's happening over there. They gave me the option of London or New York, and September I'm going with London. And I won't be attending with the gown, obviously. I don't have the money, but it's a dream that is amazing that's actually coming to fruition, where I dreamed it to be on an arena such as that, where the world could see natural fibers at its couture best.
Yeah.
Coming from my home here.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so, you know, like I can only imagine the constant persistence, because for 40 years, you know, like that's a lot of, you know, like maybe at the start it was, you know, a big thing, it was new, and you know everyone was being in the hippie era or whatever, and then but then you went through the, you know, the 80s and the 90s where it's like plastic was the go, right?
Plastic was the go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because each piece that I actually make is hand embroidered, you know, I hand bead it with crystals and precious stones and all the rest of it. So using natural things to embellish your, you know, the gowns, I needed the fabric to actually withstand time, because they are, I see them as heirloom pieces. You know, I've had brides come to me and they've bought like pearls that have been in the family for generation upon generation, and you know, generally they were worn at weddings, and then all of a sudden they've split and you've only got a couple of little pearls left. Well, I actually incorporate that then into the gown, which makes it a very personalised.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. And so, did you say that? So the gown's are going over, but you're not. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm just preparing to send 6 gowns at the end of next week. They will go over to Offgrid, and the 20th of September is show day of Fashion Week.
Oh wow.
And I'm a bit excited.
Oh, I bet you are. That's such
to say the least, you know, but it is
yeah.
a dream come true. You know, in my studio down in the house there, everything that I make, I must point out too, Elizabeth, is that it's sustainably made. I actually live completely off grid. This is why I say sometimes it's been very hard to get to where I am, but I never ever gave up. I mean, there were times the access to my home here is a serious full drive goat track, and in wet season it's 2 kilometres through a creek and straight out to get down to the main drag, so to speak. And sometimes I'd be, you know, like carrying gas bottles and generator fuel and everything up this, you know, goat track to get to my home, to continue on the path of what I wanted to do with my sewing and all the rest of it. That all I could do when I'd get up here was laugh and go, oh well, it's not. It didn't matter about the hardcore yakka of carrying gas bottles of generator fuel and dealing with mud and dealing with 3 small children and having to light a fire, which I did do for 15 years. Because at the end of the day, I had a focus that no matter what hardship I was going through, then times I did cry and think to myself, but I always had to then reaffirm to myself, this is the path I'm on. And it doesn't matter. It's like yin and yang. You've got to have the positive and the negative to actually get to where you envision.
And keep that focus, right? Like, it's actually the work that I do is all about that, is, you know, what is your desired end result? What's getting in the way, and let's clear it so we can keep that focus.
And if you have to deal with it, then you have to deal with it, whether you like it or not, whether it's too hard or not. Nothing really is that hard that you can't actually really, I don't believe, you know, I've done an awful lot of things to try and get through this momentum. I mean, one time I actually was going out with the 3 little girls in the car through the creek, and I looked at the creek and I had my levels on the creek and it completely flooded. I was within 3 seconds in the creek with the 3 little girls and the water over the steering wheel and my 4-wheel drive. Now I had to just leap out of the car, grab one child, put her on the back, grab the other child, put her on the back, and I sat there going, oh my God, now I've done it. I've actually destroyed my 4-wheel drive, my only access that I, you know. And so then 9 weeks through wet season, I had to walk up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, because I had no 4-wheel drive to even access. So, you know, but at the end of the day, again, I just kept saying, it's not that hard, and I will get the car fixed, and I'm sticking to this goal. So I get back up here and I'll get back onto the sewing, get back onto it, you know.
Yeah, because you had that drive, and obviously an intuitive force, like an intuitive force that there was a, you know, like it wasn't coming from the mind going, let's keep going. There was an internal wisdom, like this is needed. This is what I'm here for. This is my purpose. I'm striving for this. So that's beautiful. Well done.
Thank you. And the thing is, yes, I sort of, the vision in my mind and the wisdom that I had to myself was, even before the natural fibers came, you know, out, I believe that is where we are headed, without even knowing. I had no access to computers. I had no TV. But my children grew up without any TV or computers or any of that sort of modern technology. But it was an inside feeling that I knew and trusted in myself, that I just had to follow through. And I wanted to follow through, even with all the hassles of living sustainably like I do, completely off the grid. That was also something that I knew would come to eventually. And my girls would say, why don't we just sell it, Mum, and get a down, you know, in Cairns or in the city? Why we've always got to do it this hard way? But I knew deep in my soul that one day that would actually come. I just knew in my own light wisdom that I was on the right path, and I had to stick it no matter what. My family thought I was a little bit crazy. She's lost it now. Look, she's up there in the rainforest. She's struggling with mud and no electricity and no modern technology. But now they look at it and go, oh, wish we had that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. She was onto something a long time ago.
Hello.
Yeah. Drowning in debt and all the stuff that goes with you know, being in society, right? So Leah, how do people get in contact with you?
I have obviously a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page. I have a Twitter page, and I have a website, Leah Kelly by Design. And I also, all my emails are attached to any of that. Most of my work I do by design. That's why it is Leah Kelly by Design. So somebody will contact me saying, and I've done all over the world where I've not even met the women. They send me their measurements. They explain to me how they want it. I'll do a draft drawing if they like this, you know, and through the process actually send photographs, and they'll say, no, I want this bit here, or I want a bit extra embroidery here, or, you know, I want the skirt longer, whatever. It's all adjustable. And on my website, it sort of shows how you can actually sort of work around with the designs too, you know, where you'd like it in accordance to what size your body is, you know.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So when we get off, if you can just add those to the comments, like the Facebook group and your website and stuff, so people can go in and just have a look. So so you sell underwear as well?
I do underwear as well, and on the website I do have the lingerie that I do. There's a few of them that I do not do any, which I just have to adjust because of the fact I'm really struggling getting fabrics, obviously. One of the latest gowns, or two of the latest gowns that I've just done are out of pure pineapple fiber, and that's amazing to do. And
did you say pineapple fiber?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've got the sphere of the pineapple head. You shave the surface, and it exposes the little hairs. Then it's rubbed and lubed into fabric, and it's like silk. It's just the most amazing thing. And the funny thing is again, 10 years ago when I started and I got hold of this pineapple fiber, it was so expensive that I thought I'm just going to make a pair of some lingerie to see how it wash and wears, you know. Then I did an exhibition at James Cook Uni up here on natural fibers. And the thing was, in the 14th century, just quickly, the Philippines were invaded by the Christians, and they were using pineapple fiber for all their dilly bags and things like that. You know, and their fabrics. And so when the Christians invaded, when the Christians invaded, they used the pineapple fiber then to cover their body, because the Christians didn't like the nakedness. And then by the 16th century, it actually made its way to the catwalks of Paris. And then Queen Victoria actually ended up getting all her lingerie made out of pineapple fiber. So I thought it quite funny that out of my own, here was going, I might just make some lingerie out of it. But in actual fact, it's actually quite royal. It's quite regal, and I thought it was quite interesting that, again, in my whole soul thought, no, I'm going to do it this way and let's see how that goes,
Yeah. That's amazing.
And the other piece that I'm also sending is the concept of using, because I am steering away from plastics now, corsetry. I did a corset that I've made out of hemp silk. I hand embroidered it. Now, I've used for the boning instead of the plastic boning, because obviously you don't get bone anymore to do the boning in corsetry. And now it's just plastic. I actually have boned and edged this corset with banana bark. And it worked a treat. It works. It molds. It actually sort of, yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh wow! I did go on and have a look at your website when we first connected, so I'll have to go back in and check it all out. That's amazing. Thank you so much. It's been lovely to have the conversation, and especially if we've got any women on here that are looking at getting married, or even if we can just get into the lingerie, right, and to the underwear, and start being more natural with the products that we're wearing.
And who you're actually purchasing it from, because the support is the actual essential thing for people like myself to actually make it sustainable. Like I say, but most of the time I'm just on the bones, because I have done it quite difficult, the hard way round, I guess. But as I'm saying, you never give up on your dreams. You never give up on the what tells you from the inside what to do, because that is always correct. And this is what I always say to my daughter: always trust here first before any words are spoken. Trust here first and follow that.
Absolutely. It's the second thought that you have that I heard a saying just recently, a lot of people say that, when you have a thought to do something or purchase something, give yourself 24 hours before you go there, right? And I heard a saying just recently, when you if you have a thought, give yourself 5 minutes and you'll talk yourself out of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something will change, but yet that initial first is always
absolutely correct. I've been really connecting in with that initial thought, and my whole world's exploding at the moment, like with so much going on, because following that intuition first and letting the rest go is being amazing.
Absolutely. And no matter what, don't ever give up on your dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Leah.
It's a pleasure. It's lovely to talk to you.
And would love to see, I'm assuming you're going to put it all on Facebook when you have that catwalk.
When I send it. It certainly will be all up. It'll be a live stream. The thing is that I'm working on, once I actually send it, I'm also a musician. So what I showcased at Fremantle was actually choreographed to my own music. So when the models came out in my gowns and I was backstage, and I've never been to Fremantle, I sort of don't go too many places. I was at the monitor backstage and my music started to play, and I watched the girls come out to my music and I just started crying. I just thought, look what I've done. Look what I've done. And then when they presented me, I had to look at the ceiling because I couldn't stop crying. Sadness out of complete and utter joy. Look.
Yeah.
So it is something that you can just follow through and don't ever give up.
Yeah, absolutely. So such a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you too. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Yeah, take care, hun, and take
Yeah.
care to everyone that's on. If you've got any questions, by all means, put them in and just tag Leah in the post, and we'll be able to come back and answer anything.
Perfect.
Take care. See ya.
And yourself.